Are we having a party here? I don't know.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. Join our 3 industry experts boasting 140 years of experience as they unlock building service contracting secrets that can revolutionize your business.
Well, welcome. And here we are again. Aren't you the lucky ones? Yes, I'm a bit of a smart aleck. My wife has another name for it, but I guess I shouldn't say that. Ed, is it greetings and salutations, or do we have a new approach to saying hi?
Listen, you ought to see the names that ex-wives give you.
No thanks. Okay, Sharon, Ed said hi. How are you doing?
I'm going to
Let's
say
get out of that topic.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going? And in Sharon's case, it would be ex-husbands, not ex-wives. But
yes, well, that qualifies.
They're ex for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Okay, enough fun. We are going down that crooked path, and it certainly isn't a highway, of having your own employees versus subcontractors, but we're going to dig a little bit today, and we're still going to talk about the pros and cons, but we're going to talk about them in the context of who you choose and how you select them, the vetting process, and how, they can do harm to your company and they can do a lot of good for your company as well. But it starts with the vetting process. And we're really going to talk about the pros and cons of that. And again, we're going to go into some of the areas that it's a fully accepted practice to use them. And it's actually, in my opinion, I won't speak for my compadres over there and to my left or right, whichever it is. I'm on screen. I don't know my left from my right. I was never in theater either, that for the same reason. Stage left, stage right, Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exit, stage left.
Stage left, yeah. Y'all look Snagglepuss up if you don't know what that is.
Those were great characters.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to show one of my grandchildren El Kabong. Remember the horse with the guitar?
Yeah, I'm afraid I do.
People in the head.
Okay, before we get in trouble with cartoons, now you're getting some behind-the-scenes stuff to get on the hour before we actually do this.
I don't know all those people.
You see what all these years in the cleaning business, sniffing all those chemicals do to you?
2-part epoxies for the floors. Oh, yeah, with no mask. Lucky I'm alive. Okay, so we're going to jump into vetting, subcontractors, ICs, whatever moniker you want to hang on them. So, Sharon, we started with Ed last time, so I'm going to open the door and let you have at it.
Okay. I'm going to start off by saying that just because you make them a 1099 doesn't mean they're a legitimate subcontractor. And that if you give them that title of 1099, it doesn't mean anything if they're not a legitimate company that can stand on their own and that they're truly a legitimate business. That's what you're hiring. A business to perform a service for you. You're not just placing a label on an otherwise employee, the label of a 1099, so that you don't have to pay the taxes or workers' comp or other things. They still need to provide their own license. They need to provide their own workers' comp, and they need to have a company name and be real businesses. And that's the big hang up, the big difference is people see having 1099 people. I'm going to do that so I don't have to, it's going to cost me much less. I don't have to pay all the workers' comp and I don't have to pay the taxes. Well, at some point in time, that's going to catch up with you. And the fines that you will pay because of that are going to far exceed what you would have paid to have these people on your payroll. And that's
before you go and we switch over, thanks, Ed, how did you vet or check out, or, like employees, you do background investigations, you have a whole onboarding process.
Well,
how did you do that?
It really depended. I've been in a couple of different situations in this whole subcontracting thing. And, one of them was I'd get thrown out of an airplane somewhere and you got like 15 buildings to clean and there was no vetting. I got to get these building staff, period. Okay. Now, the other way, when as far as vetting people, it's very simple. Go walk buildings. And even private buildings, you can get in the lobby. So
when you walked the buildings with them, what were you looking for?
I never walked it with them.
No. Okay.
No. I want to see the work. Now, the other thing is that in the beginning, it's just kind of temporary. It's like, I'm going to fire your ass if this ain't right on the first night.
Okay, Sharon, let's jump over to you on vetting. Did you do any? If you did, what did you do? How did it work? What was your approach when you were identifying subs or affiliate partners?
Okay. Most of my work was regional and some statewide. Okay, so I had the benefit of knowing the reputation of the companies that I dealt with. And if they were not, I knew their reputation for the work they performed. I knew that they worked for other companies as subcontractors. And so it was easy for me, not easy, but it was easier for me to say, I don't want to deal with that company because they have a reputation for not doing a great job. They don't show up. They get a lot of complaints. They have high turnover, all those reasons. So it was easier for me to say, yes, I'm going to pick this person to negotiate an affiliate partnership with that can help me out with. Primarily it was floor work that I used. I used very few subcontractors for actual cleaning work.
Okay.
That particular classification of employee I controlled, and I had my own employees. But for the special services, I knew them by reputation. I got references on them from other companies. If we were in a new area where I didn't know the various subs, I would get references and even get a credit application, have them be vetted just like you would an employee or someone else you're going to do business with.
Right.
So it can't be because they walk and talk and chew gum at the same time, they're your new sub. It can't be.
Or you parachuted in from 40,000 feet and were told to clean 20 buildings
Yeah.
for 100 miles.
Yeah.
And you just had to get it done.
Yeah. The problem the problem was that their check always cleared. So
Right.
when a check clears, listen. Let me just back up for 1 second on that vetting situation.
Yeah.
In my experience, when I went through that deal with that big company, and the news was, Juan's going to lose this, and Juan lost that. What I thought to myself was, well, if we can't find good subcontractors, I will create good subcontractors. And so I broke the rules a little bit, okay? But I'd get somebody in that was young and sharp, okay? And I made a deal with them. Look, this is how it goes. We got some really crappy, low profit deals here, and I'll make sure you don't get any of those. I'll make sure you get all the good ones, okay? But I need your performance to be on top. I need you, you got to be the main guy that makes everything shine and makes everybody smile. And I did that a couple of times, and I'm proud to say that one of them is still in business. So I did something good, I'm the one that taught him.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you taught him what during the Eisenhower presidency? I can do that because that's the kettle calling the pot black, okay?
Yeah.
Kettle meet pot. So
make my own subcontractors.
Yep. Make your own.
The other guys couldn't do that because they wouldn't have a clue how to do that.
Yeah.
So.
And I would say, before I jump into how we did it, very similar, a mix of what everybody else did. You do wind up having to bend the rules if you have a decent subcontractor that doesn't quite get it. I am not encouraging anybody to operate outside the bounds of the IRS stress test or whatever they have up, or your state. But there are times, just like when you have your own people, you got to get something done and you step over just to help. And to Ed's point, creating good subcontractors takes that fine balance of walking down that gray line between the two to get a job done, to help people keep their job and stay employed, and at the same time help you get the job you want and keep your client happy. And I walk the gray line too a lot because, like Ed, we did have people other than specialty services doing cleaning. I'm not going to go into our franchise system. That's a whole different vetting process in and of itself. We were a registered state, whole other thing. But when we used affiliate partners, if we had some stuff on the other side of the mountains or down in Oregon, we would go in, we'd real quickly look and see who the key contractors were, the smaller ones. And, look for reputation. We look at the websites and stuff. and decide who we'd want to talk to. We'd send them a letter. Here's what we got. We could be in the area. We want to chat with you.
Mhm.
And we did the basic things, just like you were going to. Just pretend you're the client you sell all the time. It's easy as I can make it. Same questions. Your credit rating. Talk to their suppliers. Now, we were talking to actual small companies building a business that were hungry for more business and would gladly take it and work on their reputation. And of course, we had a contract covering ourselves with them, written by legal counsel, not off rocket law, okay? We covered our bets. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but occasionally you get to the end of rocket law and what was free, now they want to charge you $400 to have an attorney look at it in your state.
Yeah, there was no rocket law.
Well, yeah, but there is now. So
There is
with
now.
that said, the basic stuff. Give us a couple of your references. We'll just say we're a supplier. We're going to give you credit. And we would just check them out. And like Ed said, we go to a couple of their buildings. Hey, throw us a couple. Let's go look. And in some cases, we would take them through, and this is going to blow some people away. We'd walk the account with them and tell them how much time they're going to get and ask them if they can produce. And we got buy-in from the beginning with them. Look, this is what we need. Here's the scope of work. Here's the expectation. Can you do this? You know, if they said, well, no, what can you do it in? You know, if it was in the reason, we might fudge a little on our time. And if they said, well, my God, you're giving me 2 hours for an 8-hour job. Next. I mean, we're not going to close that gap. Nothing wrong. We're not going to close that gap. So we created some expectation. And that, when we were a long ways away, and a long ways away for us was 300-400 miles on the other side of the state, or down the stuff that we did that was national, they were all self-performed. And they all had project managers and site supervisors and all of that. But as far as the smaller satellite stuff that came with a larger project, that's how we managed it. And when we were hurting and looking for people, we would look to some. We had a little stash of local contractors that we knew that would happily pick up work for a month or so just as a tag job to them to get something done. You know, we had some small contractors. Yeah, I'll take that. Hey, I'm having a hard time filling this. You want to step in? So we used them a bit. You might call it as a floater. And we had a few folks that like to do that. So I think that covers the vetting. How about when you're looking for a partner that you're going to use for specialty services? So, and I'll go with floor work, carpet work, window cleaning, pressure washing. Those are four of your normal big ones. We'll talk about expanding through subcontractors with services that are basically they're horizontal but the same buyer. But right now we're talking about people you're going to bring in and use with your business. Ed, did you do any of that? Because you lived in a little different world. As far as, you know, I've got a carpet cleaning company I always work with. I got a window cleaning company that gets
Well, there was a couple of things. I mean, I was in several businesses of my own, but then I went to work in the field. Okay. It was a difficult situation sometimes, especially when it was long distance. If you're not familiar with an area, what I had to do was I had to figure out real quick, how do I find people? Okay. And I didn't have to deal with this when I was in business in my own company, because that was one of the first things I did was to make sure I got a steady stream of people. Okay. Before I ever sold one contract, I had commitments from social service agencies to send me people before.
Yep. How about you on that topic, Sharon? Because I know you just said earlier you used a lot of specialty companies to get services done.
One of the best resources for me was the local Jansan company. Okay, I would always tap into their expertise, get their key salesperson, if I could find it, the store manager, whomever I could speak to with some experience who had been around a little bit, and let me know who are the top 3 best floor people that you know of. They're in contact with all these people all the time. They hear things. They know who's doing booming business. They got the inside skinny on a lot of stuff. Again, as we've said over and over and over on this show, those Jansan people can be your very best friends. And this is another place to tap into their expertise and their experience. Get some leads. Who are the best window cleaning people? I'm doing a post-construction cleanup job. I need paint scraped off the windows. Who would you call? And use that source, especially if it was a new area that I didn't know anyone. if it was in my local area, I already knew who the players were, who to stay away from and who to take. But I developed that affiliate partnership. I love that term, Mark. That's the term you use. That relationship with them. So every post-construction job I had, I called the same window people. I called the same guys to buff out the cement floors so we could put a finish on them. I used the same people all the time. And they even, some of them, it didn't always work because they would drive up in their own trucks and they'd have their own uniforms on. So in a lot of cases, I let my customer know I was bringing in a specialist in windows to handle this job for us. And some of them even offered to put on my uniform shirt, because we just had a good relationship with them. And I fed them a lot of work, and it was a steady, good relationship. It's all about relationships, just like it is with your customers. It's the same thing with your vendors. But tap into the Jan Sand people because they know who's who.
Well, you pretty much stole my thunder for getting that done with my regular. That's okay. Regular affiliate, affiliate partners. Same thing. Whatever town we were in, we were hooked in with the Jan Sand. And who does windows, who does it? They know, and they'll tell you. And they'll work with you if you're doing some business with them. And so again, it's relationship. But I was very loyal to all of our affiliate partners. And I'm always looking at windows, carpets, any of the parking lot stuff. We had a parking lot partner that did all this stuff, and they had a whole
parking lots. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had parking lots.
They cleaned the drains. They did a ton of stuff and environmental things. It was great to have. But once we worked it out, and how did I find these guys? We used the Jan Sand, and then I would write them a letter stating, here's what I'm doing. I have work. Are you interested in talking about getting more work for your company? I always got a reply. Sometimes, you want to buy my company? No, I just want to give you work. It's a little early to buy your company. I got that all the time. Hey, you want to buy my company? No. Are you a don't wanter? And so we would build the relationships that way with, again, the regular people, the pressure washing, all the stuff that, why buy all that equipment? Because we're talking about, I know everybody here, I'm going to do a quick survey. Everybody likes surveys. So Ed, what was the biggest amount of carpet or floor work you ever had to replace because you screwed it up?
Oh, gee.
One time it was $75,000 worth of carpet. That was not my screw up. That was a competitor that came into one of my buildings at 5:45 after the supervisor had opened the supply rooms on each floor, okay? And what he did was he put spray bottles of bleach, marked carpet spotter.
Yeah, there's no, even carpet dyeing, there's no real fixing that. All right, Sharon, you're up.
Okay, it was about 25,000 square feet, and it was VCT, and we were doing a strip and refinish, and one of my guys who had been with me for maybe a year, I had been subcontracting all the floor work out. He said, Mrs. Sharon, I can do this. I can do this. You rent that equipment and I'll get this done. 3 o'clock in the morning later, and calling in every human we knew who could possibly fix this mess we created on this floor. It was till the next day when my Jan Sand supplier came out and took a look at it like it's 7 in the morning. And he said, I can get you somebody, we'll get this fixed. I said, thank you, Jesus, for this man, because we totally screwed up that floor. It was
what was your damage cost?
Well, I had to pay him to fix it. I don't remember the exact number at this time, but I had to pay him to clean up the mess and then to come back in and redo the job. And I want to say it was 3 coats of finish on it. So there was the wait time. It was the labor cost that killed me. And it was hours and hours and hours of waiting and getting it fixed and telling my customer at 7 in the morning, don't go into this area because it's really bad. You don't want to see it. I'm fixing it. I'm on it. And I didn't use anybody who said, Mrs. Sharon, I can do this. I didn't use anybody like that again. I got my own.
We've all vetted those people. Great. I need it done. Go do it.
Geez. Yeah.
At one point, I had 3 floor guys on my payroll that each invented spray buffing. I invented this. So, oh, really?
Okay. Well, you're the first one at ABM when they opened their doors in 1812 or whatever it was. I'll take something other than floors. We've all got more than one. I bought $40,000 worth of glass. They had, remember the glass buildings that they had the mirrored glass and it was an amber color to match the anodized. That was really big. And in my infinite wisdom, it was kind of one of Sharon's questions. Okay, we need to do this. Can you do it? I can do that. So they did it all right. And they scratched into the glasses. They used the wrong brush, 3 floors. And I wound up replacing 50% of the glass because he had scratched the coating, the specialized coating they had to reflect. It was facing south, so it was reflecting to keep the sun out. And I had asked the window guy. This was when I was still doing windows myself, by the way. Can you do this? So I okay, had the supplier out. Yeah, just do that. Well, great, you do that. Just like your guy, Sharon. Go ahead, hurry up. We need to get this done. Yeah, $40,000.
Oh, that's scary, man. Glass, jeez.
Yep.
Just hearing that makes my sphincter quiver.
Yeah, it makes my quiver just telling the story again.
I did replace 3.
And of course, the insurance company paid for it. That's the good news. The bad news is they raised my rates next year to compensate for the big claim because I wasn't a big company at that point in time. So a claim like that just killed you because you didn't have enough experience. So
I was just going to say I had 3 sets of big French doors to replace on a post-construction clean because somebody took a razor blade to a dry window, which you can't. The window's got to be soapy wet to take a blade to it and get the paint off. And she went, all 3, the whole set of French doors, which at the time, there was a custom home. At the time was $1,000. At the time, might have as well been $50,000 to me. That was just...
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I think to wrap us up, looking at the time, the point is vet. Don't just listen and assume that what they're telling you is the truth. Your reputation is at stake. Keeping the customer is at stake. Your insurance ratings are at stake. And vet your people and have a regular process to do that. And, the individual, that's a whole other story. We're talking about vetting operating companies and working with them. But 1099s are another story. But the key is vet and ask the questions. Ed, you got the megaphone out. What do you want?
Strangers on Facebook, it's real iffy. And you're not home free if you come to the Subcontracting Network. You are not home free by any means.
And with that said, everybody have a great day. Adios, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.
Bye.